happened already tonight. Let's go back. It's not actually quite a week, but let's go back to Queen's birthday Monday when round 12 concluded. I know you're a big fan of Queen's birthday footy, aren't you?
Well, I love that game. As a staunch monarchist, it's almost my favourite round of the year, Murray.
Well, it was a game of...
Collingwood, Melbourne, Queen's birthday. I wouldn't care if that was a 0-0 draw. No, serious.
Well, it wasn't that in the end. It was actually a compelling and fantastic game of footy. And it came down to Jack Watts, and there was something really redemptive. This was 8 years ago, his first game. Collingwood knew, #1 draft pick, big hype. They made a beeline for him, some of their hard nuts. This was Monday, 8 years later, game on the line, season on the line in a lot of respects. Who runs in, takes all the pressure.
He could have dished it off. He didn't.
He could have.
He backed himself. He went in. Well, he had to, didn't he?
That was a fantastic... Footy dishes up some great stories, I reckon. And if you're looking for a story of redemption, and he's a good man, Jack Watts, I know Collins supporters aren't going to be happy to hear it, but that was a fantastic moment at the end of that game. Fantastic.
It was indeed. And he had to do it because he's boxed himself into a corner. They have to make finals. That shot at goal had Trevor written it all over it. Remember Trevor? This was last week's show, and we saw Jack Watts at a signing for a young lad named Trevor. And here he is, well, what to write, writer's block, I don't know. Jeez.
Working hard.
Remember this now, Mickey.
Tell you what I'll do. I will guarantee to young Trevor...
Oh, no.
With the risk of breaking his heart for all time.
It's worse the second.
No! Then we will make finals!
40
No!
for you.
Well, no wonder he had to kick the goal in, didn't he? He had to kick the goal.
And he's done it. That is
a mark of a man, I reckon.
Here's a question. Does anyone know how we can get in contact with Trevor?
We need to get in contact.
We'd like to get him in here.
We do.
Every week ask him how he thinks they're travelling and what he thinks of Jack Watts.
Well, hit us up via our Twitter page. If anybody knows Trevor, we need those people to reach out and let us know.
He was at it again this week, Jack Watts.
Was it what?
He's making more promises he can't keep.
Oh, no.
Did you see him at the signing this week? Oh, this is terrible.
Is that
Here
again?
he is. Have a look. Not Trevor again.
Is it Trevor again?
No. He is going to break this kid's heart.
What's he
This kid is going to end up weaving baskets in the country. Hang on, what's this? No, what's he promising? Top 4!
Oh, no!
Oh, Jack.
Look at him. What are you doing? He's put that on. That's unbelievable.
He is 1 week away from riding back-to-back, I reckon.
You know, Razors...
Stop it.
And there's the other thing that came out of it, by the way.
Break a young kid's heart.
But I think Jack Watts has a big fan in Trevor. Just keeps on asking for his autograph week after week, by the way. Jack Watts, it is a great story. It is. Too early for a statue?
Maybe just a little too early.
No, it is a great story, by the way. And for him to hit his stride... I know it's 8 years. So for him to hit his stride 1 year before he's eligible to be on the veterans list,
right.
I think it's just in time, mate.
It does raise that age-old chestnut, and this is great trade stuff. People love having these conversations when players are taken from various drafts. If you could turn back time and take that player instead of this player, in their draft year it was Watts 1, Naitanui 2, and everybody for about the first 5 years of that draft said West Coast got it right, Melbourne got it wrong. As we sit here now in the middle of 2017, you go first, Pangy. If you could take Watts or Naitanui, who would you have?
Jack Watts or Nick Naitanui?
Who would you have?
Who's Nick Naitanui? Mate, the jury is still out, and I think it's unfair, in all seriousness, Mick, it's unfair to judge players and the drafts until the players' careers are finished. That's all I'll say.
Very sensible and mature. What about you? Watts or Naitanui?
Neither.
Neither?
No, we couldn't find any room for a tiger.
Well, if you think...
Right now, we are full as a goog, fully subscribed.
Is that the draft they talk about the most, though, that one and two?
Well, no, there is one other from 2004. And this, if you think the Watts Naitanui one is a hard split.
What?
Go back to 2004. This is as tight as it gets. If you had to choose between Richard Tambling or Lance Franklin, which is the choice that Richmond, of course, chose.
Please thank Andy Marr on his last show tonight. What are you doing, mate?
Once again, I think it's too early to judge.
Too early to
judge. You've got to wait till both players have finished their careers before you can make a judgment. Buddy's got 7 or 8 years before we can make a judgment. This rush to judge is a disgrace.
No, we do that in the media. It's a very, very good point you raise.
What, no mention of Pavlich versus Fiora?
No, we didn't want to break your heart completely. Speaking of great young talent taken in the draft, your mate, Jonathan Brown, who you spent a lot of time with Monday to Friday on your breakfast radio show, dropped an absolute bombshell. Now, Mick Malloy is the dropping of the bombshell man. He does that on our show.
That's my job.
You are the master of it. And it's a domain that not many others are capable of entering into. Well, Brownie did that not on your radio show, but on Fox Footy's On the Couch this week when he was talking about Josh Kelly.
Well, everyone's talking about St Kilda and North Melbourne, that Josh Kelly, they're his most likely landing spots if he does leave GWS. But my understanding is that Carlton are well and truly in this race, and almost to the point that they're the front runner in this race.
Oh, wow.
Big news.
Now, come on.
Mate.
What's his source?
What's his source?
You sit next to him every morning. You know him better than anyone else. Let's be honest, he's been hit on the head a few times. The guy...
What are you saying?
He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. To be honest, the word simpleton springs to mind on occasion.
He is a...
With Brownie.
Well, one is, in terms of the source...
Your show's like of mice and men. Tell me about the rabbits, Lee. I mean, he's not you could do that show with a sack of potatoes and get as much sense out of the big fella. He's just not... We don't associate him with breaking news.
If you're just tuning in now, pick the one of us who's working with him tomorrow. He is a well-respected footy pundit and a breath of fresh air in the footy landscape in terms of don't know his source. He doesn't tell me his source. We've got Ed Sheeran songs to listen to in the morning. We don't talk about where it comes from. But mate, I'll say this: if he says something out loud on television, I think it's usually on the money, because he doesn't just throw them in the air and see what happens. So I think that's...
Well, Josh Kelly is a superstar. Josh Kelly...
Carlton. Is that what he's saying?
Josh Kelly to Carlton is great, by the way, because I thought we only recruited their rejects. Right. So that's one thing. But
can I say one minute? This has got Vizzy Ambassador written all over his hands.
You got me thinking now. I'm worried about Brownie and all those knocks, because he did say that Jeff Geeshan is doing a hell of a job at Richmond at the moment. I'm starting to worry, Murray.
Well, he's a
it's all good fun, Brownie.
The kid's a rare talent, and you, as a Carlton supporter, would be delighted to have Josh Kelly come to the footy club. I've got no doubt about that.
Well, he'd be good because he's one of the few GWS players who actually know what he looks like.
Well, you better get to...
I'm serious there.
That's true.
Oh, who knows all the players? I know you're paid.
What do you mean you don't? They're arguably the best side in the competition. They're like the Galacticos. They're that good. The list that's been produced at that football club. They probably win.
I'm going to have to ask, who are the Galacticos?
They called Real Madrid was called that for a while, or superstars.
Fascinating, Andy.
The competition. Sometimes, you've just got things in your brain that you shouldn't have in there, and it's opportunities to purge them.
If they win the grand final, I'll have no idea who they are as they're coming up.
Well, that's a disgrace.
To go who is who.
I'm with Nick.
You're doing a weekly footy show. It's a disgrace you don't know who they are. And I actually want to do a bit of a quiz with you, all right? I'm going to put up a photo. You can go first, and then you second. I'm going to put up a photo.
Oh, I'm glad I can get second, thank you.
No, then you will flip flop. And I want you to tell me whether it is a GWS Giant or a home and away star.
Easy peasy.
Righto. Let's go with the first shot. Here comes the headshot. Is that a Giant or a home and away star?
Well, obviously it...
Come on, you're on the clock.
The only soapy star I know is Toadie from Neighbours.
Right.
And I'm not suggesting it's one of those. OK, I'm going to say that is 2 soap stars from home and away. Bang, lock it in, Mickey.
We don't know who the bloke on the left is, but the bloke with the hat is Harrison Himmelberg, and he plays for the Giants.
Himmelberg?
Zip and one.
They have a player called Himmelberg.
Here we go. You're 0 for 1. Sam?
I wouldn't have got the name either.
I expect more from you, Sam. Here's headshot number 2. I want you to tell me, is this a GWS Giant or a home and away soapy star?
That is... I'm not going to muck around like you, Mickey. That is a GWS player, and that is Himmelberg's younger brother. GWS, yeah, it's Josh
Apparently,
Himmelberg.
his name is Kyle Pryor, and apparently he's from Home and Away. So there you go. Mickey, you're 0-2. You're 0-2, you blokes. Here we go. Headshot number 3. Is it a Home and Away star or is it a Giant?
Home
Which
and
one
Away, too slight. Even a young Jack Watts was heavier than that. So that has to be.
Well done. Finally, we've got one right. That
Yes.
is Matt from Home and Away. Sam, you need to lift your game. You haven't got one right yet.
By the way, if you're wondering whether Mick and I saw these, we did not.
No, they haven't seen it. This is 100% fair. Headshot number 4. Oh, excuse me. Is this a Giant?
What's he doing?
Just burp on live TV.
What is wrong with you?
Is this a Giant? Get the headshot back.
Whatever happened to the front bar? Well, one night Andy just burped.
Can you get the headshot back up,
and we have a look
please?
this up?
Is this a Giant or a Home and Away star, please?
I reckon that is a Giant because they wear beanies when they're not.
Yeah.
You know.
Good.
Yes.
Yes, well done. Nick Haynes, very good player. Coming back from a hamstring injury, he's a very good player.
There
Right,
you go.
Mickey, your last one.
Oh, we're persevering, are we?
Yeah, we're going.
That's
This is going. We're going well.
I'm with Mick. I would have stopped about too far.
No,
Home and away.
But that's fine.
Home and away.
Home and away.
Home
Stop.
and away.
Well
There's
done.
no way you would allow. Oh, it is. I was
There you go, Scotty Lee.
I was about to suggest it looked a bit like altitude training. It could have been GWS.
And last one for you,
Come
Sam.
on,
I want
mate.
this that we've kept the hardest to last. Is this a GWS Giant or a star from Home and Away?
I'm going to go with Giant, and that's the worst photo of Stevie J I've ever seen in my life. That is a disgrace.
So you two, I think what we take away from that is that you two need to do some serious study on the Giants list because they might win the flag this year.
Hey, from players we can't identify to players we can't understand, there's a young bomber,
Yes,
an
cool.
Irish
Yes.
boy. What's that? McKenna.
Connor
McKenna.
Connor
Now, he
McKenna.
did a post-match interview the other night after the game with Luke Darcy and Richo. And tell me if you can make head nor tail of what young Connor is saying.
Wash should just encourage him to take the game on and just try different stuff and hit kicks. So just going to get a few games in a row and get a bit of confidence up and hopefully stay in for a few games and just keep building on it.
Anything? Anyone? Any idea?
No idea.
GWS player, I reckon.
No
idea.
I'm going to show you some more, but as fun as it's not to understand him, have a look at Luke Darcy and Richo, as they clearly have no idea what the hell he is talking about, but they try and stay in the moment.
Gee, you guys did that well tonight, Connor.
Yeah, just we're told to defend first, and when you beat your man, then just try to take off as much as you can and make them try to defend. Sort of heard a bit about him, but didn't really know much about it. So from day one, just went home and ma and dad and all just sort of a bit shocked. But then this ball kept rolling. About 6 months later, I was over here playing NFL. So it's a strange position, but yeah, have to grab it. Like so, no, it's been good so far. You know, just probably Gaelic football. We try different stuff in kicks. We try inside of the boot, outside of the boot. So we're trying not afraid to take risks and stuff. So. It's just coming from kicking from 3-year old, 4-year old, so just kick it up quick part of there, so pretty good.
He could have just told them he was making a suit out of human skin in the basement and they would have no idea. So there you go.
If that's the case, I can see why Richard didn't ask a follow-up question.
Maybe Richo
That's
didn't.
amazing.
Maybe that's incredible. The kid can play. He's a
Kid
very
can play,
exciting
that's the
player.
main thing.
No doubt about that. We're going to get a break out of the way here on the front bar. When we come back, we're going to be joined behind the bar by one of the greatest of all time, Mr. Phil Carman.
Fabulous.
Welcome back to the front bar. Great to have you with us on this night. Look, we are very lucky every now and again to have people who join us behind the bar who are greats of the game. And for a man who only played 100 games of AFL football, the indent he left behind will be spoken about for years and years and years after we are pushing up daisies. He was an absolute superstar, played for a few clubs and did it his own way, and he joins us behind the bar now. Please make Phil Carman very, very welcome.
Fabulous.
Thanks, Andy. Phil.
How are you, Phil?
Pardon?
Thank you for joining us, mate. We really appreciate you swinging by.
I'm terrific. Only too happy to be here. Particularly behind the bar, it's good.
Well, it's your natural habitat, I'm led to believe. Now, can I ask you this, to settle an argument? How old are you, Phil?
66.
Deary me, have a look at the man.
You're a good-looking rooster. I mean, I'm 82, but I reckon you've held it together nicely. And one of the reasons you're here tonight, we'll get to the fun stuff soon, but we want to talk about the book. This is your book, and as we said, only 100 games or so, but I would have thought this would be 3 times as thick to get everything that you achieved in your career in. This is the new book, Fabulous, the Phil Carman story, with a foreword by Eddie Maguire, which of course goes for 212 pages.
Right.
And then there's a little bit about Phil right on.
Exactly. On page 211, you get to mention Phil. So
why did it take you so long to write the book? I mean, your career at the VFL level was done a fair while ago now.
Well, I had a couple of guys years ago have an attempt at it, but it didn't come to fruition. And it was only through about 2 years ago I spoke at an accountant's sort of function.
Yeah.
And it went over pretty well. And there was a guy there who said, listen, you've got a lot of good stories. It's time it went into a book. So that was 2 years ago. So I'm wrapped that it's out now.
Yeah, good.
We are too.
I'm very excited.
It's basically a history of 40 years of footy, and I'm really appreciative of a lot of the guys. There are 40 ex-players that I played with and against, and also all the coaches that I played under have made a contribution to the book.
That's great.
I love this. I love the cover art, although I personally thought you would have gone with this shot, which seems far more... Now, if you have a look there closely...
It's a beautiful style. Great leg extension.
You've got an errant nut.
But Vic, it's a classical kick though, isn't it? Look at the follow through.
It's a great follow through. That could have been the greatest footy card ever taken. You know that?
I've got some footy cards coming out, and I'm not sure whether that one is in it or not.
Well, that is amazing. Because we've been following the game a long time, Murray, and we've never seen that. And I did some research on it. And
that was actually on the back page of one of these papers in South Australia.
Really?
But they did cover over.
I know for a fact it was in the last ever. It was in a footy record, and it was the last ever spot the ball competition they ever did, because it was a pretty easy thing. So I'm glad we sorted that out.
Phil, stick around. There's a bunch of stuff we're going to get back to you with throughout the show. So Phil Carman's going to stick around
later.
Yeah, he's going to stick around.
By the way, you've really let yourself go too.
Yeah, that's it.
I want to point that out, Phil.
There's a lot of stuff we're going to speak to Phil Carman about before we're done and dusted. One of the other big talking points during the week was Alistair Clarkson.
Wow.
That makes a habit of getting himself in the middle of these sorts of things from time to time. But after the Gold Coast game, he was asked a question about the umpiring, and this is how the Hawthorn coach responded.
So what did you make of it? I'm not allowed to comment on disgraceful umpiring for me, so I'm better off not saying anything.
So he did it with a smile on his face. He's been around long enough to know, probably as those words were coming out of his mouth, that he's going to be in a bit of trouble. Less than 24 hours later, Carlton, or about 24 hours later, Carlton's playing the Giants at Etihad Stadium. Fox Footy is covering the game, and Alistair Clarkson made himself available to the coverage to make an apology.
Yeah, it was probably a poor choice of words, Ralphie. I went to the press conference with the full intention of trying to educate our members and the football public just where Hawthorn's at.
So he walks away with a $5,000 fine and $15,000 of it suspended.
When do you think the AFL are just going to start putting an FPOS machine in the coach's box? I reckon.
He should have been fined another $5,000 for not ironing his shirt. Have a look at this. Come on, mate. His mum will be furious.
Got to be better than that.
He's got to do better than that.
No, that's not a good...
Hey, just a little bit of a change in pace, if you don't mind. I'm big on politics, especially UK politics.
What are you
there was a big election last week.
What are you
Strong
doing?
suit.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
Can't believe Mixed Multi isn't covering it. But anyway, we're gonna do it. A big election last week, and Theresa May, the British Prime Minister.
Yeah.
In the lead up to the election, she was interviewed, and she was asked this question: what's the naughtiest thing she'd ever done?
What's the naughtiest thing you ever did?
Oh, goodness me. I have to confess, when me and my friends sort of used to run through the fields of wheat, the farmers weren't too pleased about that.
Whoa!
What a wild woman. Strap yourself in.
Running through the fields of wheat is the naughtiest thing she's ever done.
Wow.
Well, I got a sneaking, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. What's the naughtiest thing you ever did?
Well, when I was at...
Apart from burp on television.
When I was at primary...
What are you going to ask me to do next? Pull your finger out?
When I was at primary school at OLV in Camberwell, we were walking home one night and the Camberwell Civic Centre was there, and we're pulling a bit of glass out of the fire alarm bit, pushed the red button for...
Okay, nothing criminal.
And I actually accidentally pushed the fire alarm and set the fire alarms off at the Camberwell Civic Centre, and about 3 minutes later the joint's just been inundated with fire engines and police, and there was no fire, of course, and yeah, that was probably the
I
naughtiest
say this
thing I've
sincerely. I'm sorry I asked.
What about
We
you?
said what's the naughtiest thing
That's
you've
the
ever
naughtiest
done.
thing I've ever done.
Not what's the most boring thing.
I'm a total clean skin.
When
What
I
about you?
was a kid, when I was 15 years old, I snuck into an R-rated screening of Porky's. Now we're talking to you.
Right, what about you, Mr. Hardman?
What have you done?
You're you wild animal. What have you done that's so naughty?
Well, the one naughtiest thing I ever did was I once got pulled over by the police, and they were about to give me a ticket. And they said, "What's your name?" And I said, "I'm Ando." Didn't matter. That I kissed a cousin once, but other than that, nothing.
enough.
Hey, Phil, just out of interest, what's the naughtiest thing you might ever have done?
Oh, goodness me.
Anything spring to mind?
Ever run through the fields of wheat, Phil?
Look, we'll probably discuss mine because mine are too numerous, so I think we'll talk about those a little bit later on.
Well,
What about the headbutt? Yeah. I know you're possibly sick of talking about this, but as naughty things go, just ask Gary Sidebottom. There it is. Bang, Carberry, bang! Two afros go head to head. And there it is. This one was exceptional. How many weeks did you cop for that?
16, and I also got 4 for striking Carberry.
Sidebottom.
Sidebottom.
Yeah.
And then Carberry, and in your book you talk about this, and Carberry's actually, is he quoted on this for the very first time? Do we hear?
Yeah, it's the first interview he's done, which I'm grateful for.
Have you caught up at all?
No, Matt Watson, the author, has attempted to get us together, but he's reluctant to do it. And I just, I think it'd be wonderful to just have a chat about it because...
that was pretty good. Well, he's here tonight. Please make him welcome.
By the way,
it's a fascinating chapter in the book.
No, I can't wait. By the way, it's a good reminder. People forget how talented this man was. As you can see from that footage, equally skilled on both sides of his head.
Phil,
remember that?
I mean, it's a moment in your career I'm sure you'd rather have back, but do you hate seeing that vision? Is it sort of part of...
I've watched it for how many years now? 30 years or something. So no, I've accepted it and got on with it. So
I've been reading your book.
People talk about it all the time.
They do. Because it's interesting. I'll tell you what else is interesting, and I didn't know reading your book, how fit you were. You recorded as running the fastest time at the Tan ever.
For a footballer?
For a footballer?
Well, I don't think the... yeah, maybe.
I think it's still 11.17.
No, 11.27.
I thought it was 11.17, but anyway, yeah.
Hey, I think he would know.
Well, I'm not sure. It's actually in the book, isn't it? Either way, Phil, that's cracking. I mean, that is a super speed.
4K.
And what about indoor rowing? Is you the indoor you're the indoor rowing champion
in the world?
I set last year the fastest time in the world for the over 65 age group. So have you ever rowed, Mick? Ever tried to row?
Look, I've never...
No.
Oh, very funny.
You've got to reach forward to get that.
Phil, if you want to warm up, though, you can do a couple of laps around again.
You have indoor rowing. I'd never heard of such a thing, but we've got some footage of you at the indoor championships here, and this is very...
A fair head of steam there.
You were at the finals at Chadstone.
Well, that is a legitimate thing. Phil Carman is the world record holder for 60 to 69 for indoor rowing in a rowing machine. That is not to be sneezed at. That's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I'll tell you what, there's more we want to talk to you about, so get over here in the outbreak. Phil Carman's going to join us. Don't go anywhere. The coaches are still to come as well.
Come on over, mate.
our very, very special guest.
Hey, fabulous Phil.
Sorry.
Where did it come? Yeah, that's a great nickname. You've got to either be a very good footballer or like a wrestling manager to have a name like Fabulous Phil.
Well, I got Lou Richards, obviously. Lou came up with some beauties. Lethal Lee.
Yep.
I don't know whether it was actually Rotten Ronnie, whether he actually gave
Rotten Ronnie. There were some good ones back in the day. The Doormat, the Flying Doormat,
Galloping
the Ghost.
Galloping Gasometer.
So I think Lou was responsible for quite a few of them.
How long
You'd be happy with Fabulous, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think that was okay.
Did you have that on your passport? Fabulous Phil Carman.
Yeah, I was often called Fabulous or Phil the Flop and various other things.
Let's not talk about your sex life. I just think we need to.
You came into the league, Phil. Your first
Look
year,
at this.
You win a Copeland medal, a Copeland trophy.
White boots.
The white, but we'll get to that in a minute.
You're a great player. For everything we remember of you, this is underrated. You were an absolute rolled gold superstar.
When you were watching VFL footy, before you came over, did you know that you were going to be able to acquit yourself at that level in that league the way you did?
No, that was the reason I came so late, because I didn't get over it till I was 24. And even though I'd played against Victoria for South Australia, you were never sure.
Yeah.
And I recall at times Collingwood were often coming over to see me, and Bobby Rose and Tommy Sheeran came and actually guaranteed me 10 games. They said, if you come across, we'll guarantee you 10. And I'm thinking, well, how do you know I can do it? But no, I think I was surprised, Andy, when I got here, that it wasn't as professional as I thought it would be.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and the reason why I was a bit better was that I was so much fitter than everybody.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Some of your coaches, mate, with Tommy Hafey, he would have appealed to your sense of fitness. You would have been kindred spirits in that regard, wouldn't you?
Well, Tommy and I weren't kindred spirits. No.
Right.
We didn't get on all that well, Tommy and I. So
well, is that because? Can I just follow up on a wildly serious point? There is a Collingwood. Speaking of Collingwood, I'm telling people that you're coming on the show. Collingwood supporters, they love you.
Do they?
But
That's good.
They're dirty on you too, aren't they?
Oh, of course. Well, why not?
Because you missed the grand final.
Yes.
You missed the 1977 grand final.
I think
Phil.
They claim you cost them that grand final.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably fair enough, because Tommy obviously didn't get over that.
Here it is. That's it. That's the incident. You've taken Michael Tuck out.
Yeah.
And have a look at this. Bang.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you got
Well, what you have to understand is it was the first. I kicked the first goal of the quarter, and I handballed to Len Thompson for the second. And,
is this a defence?
Well, I'm leading up to it. So you can imagine the adrenaline was really pumping. And I had the ball knocked away from me at sort of centre-half forward, and I took off after it. And obviously being a second semi and you're really pumped up, I had to make a split decision as to whether to show some force and take Tucky out. Well, I didn't know it was Tuck at that time, or go for the footy. And obviously...
whack him in the back of the head, why not?
Yeah, I know. It's just, I wasn't reported immediately. It wasn't until after the game when, in those days, the managers swapped match reports. And I then found out that I was reported. But Jack Gaffney, who was the...
I don't think it was a bombshell, by the way, was it?
No. But Jack said, you've got nothing to worry about. But then when I got home and saw the vision, it was fairly obvious that, I haven't seen that for a while. It's not
But
good.
if you don't know the story...
It's like the Zabruta footage.
It is. It's amazing. You got 2 weeks, which meant that you missed the grand final, and then it was drawn, so you missed the replay as well.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that... It's interesting that when I went to the tribunal, they actually suspended me for 1 week for that year and the first game of the following year. So they didn't realise, obviously, it was going to be a draw. So I went back to the tribunal on the following Monday night after the draw, thinking that we might get it cleared. But when I was sitting in a room away from... There was obviously a lot of media there. I was in a room away from the media, and one of the tribunal members walked past and said to the others, we're not going to let him get away with this, though. And I knew then...
You're gone.
I was gone.
Johnny Cochran couldn't have got you off. I'm fairly sure.
Oh, we get Theresa May, Johnny Cochran. What's next?
It was obviously worth a chance.
It was worth a shot, mate, and well done. Now, the other thing we want to give you credit for is you were the first. It seems commonplace now, but what a massive thing it was to pop on the first pair of white boots in the history of the game. Now, I remember at the time, this was considered a revolutionary move, and it was the talking point. So, talk us through your decision to what did you do one day? Go, you know what I feel like today?
No, well, actually,
white boots.
What had happened was obviously my first year there, and I missed 8 weeks through a broken foot. I broke my foot playing for Victoria, and there was I was trying to decide whether to wear Adidas or Puma. And anyway, the night before my first game back from injury, EJ Whitten and Maury Plant came in from Adidas, and Maury, I was sitting with a few other players, and he passed me the box, and I had a look at them, and the white boots, and I said, "You're kidding, you know, you couldn't possibly wear those." And with that, EJ sort of shook my hand, grabbed my hand, and in the other hand, he gave me an envelope. He said, "Have a look at this." So I opened the envelope up, and it was a cheque, and I said, "Yeah, I'll wear them."
Right. So you wear the white boots. First up, how'd you go that day?
6-8 that day.
6-8.
And then 11 the next week against St Kilda.
Who was the next? Was it Sam Newman? He's the other one I remember popping on white boots at some stage.
Yeah, Sam wore them after, and then there were obviously quite a few.
Then it opened up.
Yeah. I took out of that story. Isn't the great old days when players who were from South Australia played State of Origin for Victoria?
Yes.
Wasn't that nice? I miss those days.
It was a simple time.
Phil, you mentioned the fact that it wasn't as professional as you thought it might have been, and you clearly had a high set of standards for yourself, and you probably demanded those of your teammates. I want to ask you to move forward to 2017, and if you were playing these days with the same sort of approach that you had, and you saw one of your teammates, Jarman Impey from Port Adelaide, walking into the room for a game. You want to be in the battle zone. You want to be ready to rip the opposition apart. You want to be, just prepared to leave it all on the line. And there he is pretending to be a DJ.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like Dermot. Dermot did that. Didn't he?
Isn't it the white boot specialist?
Yeah.
But no, I think we played music in our day. I'm not sure.
What type of music? Because it's interesting. What was he listening to?
Well, it's funny. I'll defend Impey there because once you find out actually what he was listening to, he was actually listening to our theme song, and it's a catchy number.
Right.
Oh, is this it?
Proof this.
Have we got the
You can see why he'd get up and about for that.
Oh, yeah.
They got beaten, didn't they?
No, Phil, they got beaten. You're right. They got beaten. I just want to say I can't wait to read this book because I had the great pleasure of meeting this man last year for the first time. We sat at a lunch together, and it was a big thrill for me to sit next to Phil Carman and listen to Phil talk about himself for 2 hours. It was great. I just want to know what's in this book. If you had to pick, what's in this book that I didn't hear at lunch that day? What's the one thing?
Look, I'd have to flip through it.
Do you buy yourself a copy and see what's in it?
Do you like them just before do you like the modern game? Just quickly before we.
Yeah, look, I think this year the footy's been sensational because normally you wait until finals time to see some really one-on-one stuff, but there's been some. Look, Monday's game was a good game.
That was a fantastic game.
And the one I particularly liked was Geelong and the Bulldogs a few weeks ago. That was sensational. So good footy.
The book is fabulous, Phil. It's the story of your time in football, and it's a great read. It's a really great read. This was a phenomenal career that spanned 100 games and went over 4 clubs at AFL level. It's going to be a cracking read. Thanks for coming in and telling us about it.
You can get it.
You go right on. There's the pitch here. Right on.
You can get it at all good bookstores, and if you want it online, philcarman.com.au.
People were just clapping because Andy finished talking.
Phil, thanks for coming on the show. Phil Carman, our very special guest. Stick around, mixed multi on the other side of the break. We'll hear from the coaches as well. Welcome back to the front fantastic to have Phil Carman on the show. We're not too far away from mixed multi. There's a lot of huge demand out there for it, so stay tuned, folks. It's about to be delivered yet again.
Hey, can I send a shout out to the St Kilda cheer squad, who I've always had a soft spot for ever since I saw the documentary Heathens, which was filmed at Moorabbin. And I think the next generation is upon us. This little kid, I think, is the future. Have a look at this. Goes into the cheer squad at the back. Ball should go straight back and nah. Come on.
That's goal.
That kid could go anywhere.
He has
That's a healthy disrespect for authority.
That cheer squad's in good hands. I want to just ask you this. I know that mixed multi's coming up, but Saturday afternoon, Richmond taking on Sydney. A big game. A big game.
Yeah, massive game.
At the G, we beat them last year after the siren, a Lloyd goal from outside 50.
Moment of truth game, this Mickey.
We will pull our pants down.
It's such a big game, and of course, even I cannot avoid the fact that all the talk this week has been Buddy Franklin taking on Alex Rance in a just a good old-fashioned matchup.
It will be.
It's going to be great.
Can I ask you this? If Buddy got on kicked a bag early, right? Have you got alternatives? Have you got options other than Rance? Have you got options?
Yes, we do.
Who?
Yes, Asprey or Grimes or... No, our backline is the best. We're the hardest kick goals against in the league.
All right, then.
So
I'm just asking you because they may be called upon, considering this footage today from training Alex Rance here. This is today, Mickey. You haven't seen that. Seeing the Zapruder footage. Have a look at that.
That's old footage, isn't it?
No, that's from today's training session. Seriously, came in late.
We couldn't get Alex Rance to hold up a newspaper like he was in a hostage situation. That is today.
That is terrifying.
That is today, Mickey.
I'm sure he was wearing a lace-up. Is that today?
That is today, mate. We're not lying to you. That is today. The biggest game of the
season. Thanks for breaking it to me on live TV.
Season's on the line. Your main man, and he might be out for the year.
Well, that'll change the betting. That could change the betting in the multi, which is coming up.
We don't think he's going to be out for the year. Little Tiger Kitties at home who are listening to that. Time now for mixed multi.
There we go. That's real.
Right, it's real.
That's real.
No, that's real.
That will affect the markets. By the way, last week we nailed 3 legs, everyone.
Who let us down?
3 legs. Who did let us down?
Josh Jenkins didn't kick the first goal for the Adelaide Crows.
You giant knob. That is terrible. Why would you do it?
Fair enough. Right.
Okay, here we go. First leg of the multi this week. Ordinarily I don't do this. I don't like showing clips off the internet where someone gets hit in the nuts.
No, you're better than that.
It's low-hanging fruit, if I could use that expression. But I'll make an exception to show you this man. And you can sense what's about to occur. I'd like to wager that his left testicle is in worse nick than Phil Carman's. Can I have that?
By the way, how fit? You talk about how fit Phil Carman was. There was not an ounce of fat on that testicle, you know.
Well, by looking at the skin folds on his scrotum, I'd say he was in
probably
fitness.
Whatever it is you wanted to have with that, you can't have it.
What was I going to have?
I don't know what you're going to have, but you can't have it. But I'll tell you what you can have.
What?
You can have the Tigers to beat the Swannies by a ridiculous 40 plus.
God, lock it in.
And I'll give you $7 for that.
Right? More than that.
Without
I thought so.
Let's call it $7. Okay, second leg. Here we go. A lot of talk about the Socceroos at the moment with the World Cup qualifiers and the best teams in the world in town. I'd like to wager that this girl joins our World Cup squad. Have a look at this for Shea. What's her take on? That's the Socceroo spirit.
You can't have her.
She's going to make the World Cup.
Can't have her in the squad.
She's a little trooper, is what she is. She's worn that for the team, and that's what the Socceroos are lacking.
You can't have her in the squad, but you can have the Australians taking on Germany in the Federations Cup, and I'll give you $4.50.
You can have $4.50. Sort of a bit more than that, just for the take. Okay, here we go, the third leg. I'd like to wager that this is the worst double play in the history of baseball. Have a good look, and here she goes.
Can I?
He's It's horrible.
Can I just? I don't often say much during Mix Multi, right? I don't often
you
say.
don't?
No, I don't say. But I tell you, there seems to be a bit of a theme, a running theme.
Everybody teaches you've got to slide into second.
No, well,
Get down low.
Getting to second base should be more fun for the ladies, but that was not on. That is the worst on the play. Can I wait to that?
I don't know what you want again, but I'll tell you what you can have.
What?
You know, the Kansas City Royals to beat the LA Angels, and I'll give you 2-4
Bag it up.
What odds can I get on Mari's voice not making it to the end of the show? You all right?
You're going to be able to boot this baby home. What do you got for us?
Bag it up and call it ice cream. Speaking of ice cream, that's an old phrase. Have a look at this little fella as he gets one of the classic brain freezers. Now, have a look. It's a Slurpee competition. Oh, no. He's in trouble. He's not going to make it here. No, little fella. No! I don't even know what the bet is.
No, I don't know what it is either. But I'll tell you what I'll give you to boot at home. I will give you Billy Slater, because he wears his cap backwards sometimes. He will score a try in State of Origin number 2 for Queensland. I'll give you 340.
What is that?
You happy with that?
Worth? Bag it up.
Right, this is what it comes out to, 229.
No.
If you want to have a go at Mixed Multi, you had 3 legs last week. You can do so. Download the Sportsbet app. Look for Mixed Multi under Megabets. And, of course, Sam, gamble responsibly.
Go the plonk, you numbnuts. Let's go. Come on.
Get a break out of the way. The last shout. We'll hear from the coaches after this.
Bag it up.
And call it off.
I've never heard that in my life.
We were playing okay, but I don't think we were playing so well that we thought that we could just roll on and beat every team, especially West Coast in Perth. There was a bye before the finals last year and we won the next week, so I think sometimes these things can grow legs even when they're false. And I think you've got to be really careful looking back 7 years. We didn't really read the conditions very well. We overused the ball a little bit. Their pressure was really good, which forced us into error around the congestion. That's the positive thing around the night for us, with those guys that were poor in the first half did hang in and find a way to get themselves back into the game and give us a chance.
Not so much demand. We're on this together, and the players have been a little bit disappointing here and there over the course of the year, but as we're all saying, it's never as good or as bad as it seems. And the last 3 weeks to lose the last 3 games and then come out and perform well tonight was probably what we expect.
What did you make of their kind of tit for tat throughout the game? They had a few.
Who's that?
Selwood and Mitchell.
Did they? I didn't notice.
Quite a few bumps off the ball and the rest
okay, that's footy. It's probably what we've been lacking a little bit of. So that's good.
Do you see Shuey's bump on Paddy Dangerfield at all?
Yeah, I saw that. Saw that before. So I didn't think there was too much of that.
Think he'd be all right?
Yeah, he'd be good.
Yeah.
I can comment on that one, can't I? Yeah. No, he's all good. I think our supporters and members would appreciate playing that way, and if you don't win, you still hold your head up high on a Monday. So that's our ambition. So we've still got a lot of work to do. We're not quite where we want to be yet, but that was a good sign tonight with the collective and our young players in particular.
Time for the last shout. Who have you got lined up for us this week?
Well, I want to go back to MND and all the money raised. Obviously, Neil Danaher deserves it, but also the Sliders who went down and did such a great job. It's a very cold day. It's a great spirit of participation and fundraising, and everyone gets right into it. It is very cold, I can attest to that. And well done, guys.
It was a super day. I mean, it was an unbelievable fundraising performance again.
It takes over the whole town. Yep. I'd also like to congratulate the federal government for tipping it. It got a pretty rough ride on this show last week. You two were pretty... No, they dollar for dollar matched it. They raised $4 million million, and the federal government tipped in $2 million, and they'd done that previously as well. So
well
they don't
done,
often get a lot of credit.
It's a fantastic.
But well done, Greg Hunt and federal government. We appreciate you coming to the table with such a generous offer. So
it's a lovely thought.
There it is.
That's about it. We are done and dusted for another Front Bar. Thanks to the Brewery Fresh Cut and Rough. I should thank Phil Carman and Cameron Ling for being part of the show tonight. Thanks to the audience here. You've been absolutely magnificent, a lot of you. That is it. We're done. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.